Hello and welcome back to the Shannons SpeedSeries here at the sensational Hidden Valley Raceway, of course in the Northern Territory. What a fantastic day it's been so far, and we get ready for the GT World Challenge powered by AWS. It's qualifying time, so I thought I'd come and chat to one of our young guns, our SRO Academy applicant. And we're admiring your new suit, and the new name is Valentino Astuti.
There we go.
Here we go. So how has your weekend been in Darwin so far?
It's good. We actually rocked up quite late, so probably got into bed at like 2:30 Friday morning, and then it was a long day, so we had good pace yesterday, so we're looking forward to quali now.
And of course, we're feeling it really heat up now. We're expecting sort of 32 conditions. So how does that affect qualifying at the moment for you guys?
Tyres should wear out just by heat, I think, so bolt on the set and let's go.
And of course, SRO Academy Challenge is well and truly on. There's a mega prize on the line for you guys, and we're halfway through the season. So how much is that really factoring into how you approach your weekends?
Just eyes forward at the moment. Yeah, just try and get up the front and then see where we end up.
Fantastic. Well, go well, Val. Val is the new name. Check out this race suit. Let's head up to commentary.
Val, we like that. Thank you, Charlie. We're in Larrakia country. This is the first ever visit by GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. We have seen one make Porsche racing in this part of the world before, but pretty special for our GT3 and GT4 classes. Greg Ruston, Holdsworth with you. For reference, the outright lap record here, Simon Wills in a Formula Holden back in 2001, 1 minute 2.92, but yesterday we saw some pretty impressive times from the GT competitors. You've been wandering, Lee, and having a chat with them in the paddock there just now, and the way all the different marques deliver their speed here is different, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite intriguing. Speaking to all the drivers just before from different manufacturers, some feel that they had a great car yesterday in the cooler conditions. The Ferrari with the turbo engine performs quite well in the cooler conditions, gets a bit more punch off the corners, but as the track heats up, as the day heats up and the ambient temp is up, you tend to lose that advantage from the turbo engine, and you'll start seeing the likes of the Mercedes coming through, and the Audi will be very quick in this middle sector, having a lot of downforce, but then obviously that affects it down the straight as well, pushing more air. So we're going to see speed from different sectors in different manufacturers in this session, which is fantastic. They do take a while to switch the tyre on. It takes about, the drivers are saying they'll get their best out of their tyres on, say, lap 4 to about lap 7. So they get about a 3-lap window where they'll be able to push very hard.
Friday benchmark time was a 1 minute 4.71 set by Josh Bucket in the cooling conditions that Lee was alluding to. Let's go to Chris now.
Look, just really quickly, we've got Oscar Target here. They're just dropping the Merc down and it's about to get sent. But a problem with the car yesterday, some damage, a spin for Shane. Oscar, great to see you. How's the car? What's the fallout?
Shane had a bit of an incident in the first practice yesterday, which sort of took a bit of our track running away. But yeah, the team did a great job to get it fixed up, and we got out for the last session. Car wasn't perfect, but we were out there, which was good. So yeah, just get ready to have a crack today.
So make the most with what you've got for today?
Yeah, no, I think we should be better than that. We, with the testing early yesterday morning, we got a fair few laps in, so we're quite happy with the car, and Shane and I had, decent pace. So yeah, I think we should be competitive.
Thanks for your time. Go well.
Thank you very much.
Championship being led by Brendan Leach and Sergio Perez coming into this round on top with a lead of just 9 points, and we can tell you that Serge has been back in Portugal catching up with family between Queensland and here, while Brendan has been off continuing his racing journey in both Fuji and Spa. Earlier in the weekend, before we got the event proper underway, Chris caught up with both of them.
Sergio, Brendan, great to see you both here at the top end. Championship leaders, Serge. How does that sit with you?
Sits well, but there's a long way to go. We kind of went into Queensland 15 points off the lead and came out of it 9 points ahead. So that's proof that there's a lot of points still to go with 3 rounds. So we're not taking it for granted, and this round's going to be an important one.
It's a new place for many people here, Brendan. What are you making of how it will work for you guys?
I think it's going to be a tricky weekend. Obviously, we've had a lot of success so far, so we're definitely going to start to feel that, I think, now. But we just have to do the same, have the same mindset that we had in Queensland, and just execute, just do a good job. It's not about putting everything together perfectly, but it's about being there every chance we get and capitalising on other people's mistakes.
You're getting a lot of airtime this year, Sergio. We've chatted to you about becoming a first-time race winner. Now that's a two-time race winner and championship leader. What would it mean to take the title this year?
Oh, it would be big. Like, you know, a lot of people who've watched racing for a while will know that kind of muscle stepped aside this year for me to use the full budget to go racing with Brendan to try to win this thing. So to repay that with the trophy at the end of the season would be special.
Brendan, what would it mean to you? I mean, you had such a close relationship with Tim Miles, and it was a dream of his. There'd be a fair bit involved in this, I would have thought, if it was to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's something that Tim and I had worked towards as well, and we were hoping that we'd get there at some point, and then obviously that ended the way it did, and now we're here, and I've just got to focus on the job at hand, really. Like we're only halfway. You know, I'm definitely aware that there's still a lot of work to be done, and we can lose the lead just as quickly as we got it. So I think it's going to be just important to keep chipping away and not get ahead of ourselves.
I'm going to put you both on the spot here. Tell me the best thing about each other. Serge, what's the best thing about Brendan?
He's just a champion guy. He's just a champion dude, easy to hang out with. His pointers, as my driving's gone to another level since Brendan joined. So what he's done for my driving has been amazing, but just hanging out with him at the track's the best part.
And Serge?
Oh, honestly, aside from becoming great mates, I think the thing with Serge is his learnability, if that's a word. Like, the rate of improvement from Serge this year has been crazy. From the first race we did at Golf 12 Hour, and already was a great performance, and then just optimising all the way to now, and like, for him to take pole position and race leads and just drive like an absolute champion, even though we're not there yet. It's fantastic, and we just have the most fun you could have with your pants on every weekend.
Not the first time we've heard that from you either.
Yeah.
It's a good line. Serge, you're qualifying this year in particular. I mean, your speed over one lap, that's been quite an evident improvement. What is it perhaps that either you've learned or Brendan's kind of helped you with there?
It's the small things. I think I've mentioned it before, but I've never had driver training before, and I thought I was doing a good job, but then you really learn about like that kind of last bit of braking and that first application of throttle, those little things that I've never thought about in my driving that Brendan's highlighted has made the biggest difference.
Gentlemen, all the very best of luck this weekend, and as you've said, there's a long way to go, but so far, so good, and keep enjoying it.
Thanks,
you.
mate.
Serge is sporting the Euro 10 there. He's enjoyed his time in Portugal. It's been very warm in Europe, obviously, in recent time, but loved catching up with family there. And great memory that Brendan shared, going from P18 to P6 in 7 minutes with Life at Motorsport in the Lamborghini and Super Trofeo in Europe. He's raced all sorts of different marques, Brendan, and he's great in that kind of coaching capacity as well. They're in great shape at the moment. It's a lead of less than 10 points. And there's a class lineup of competitors in this one, headlined by Brock Feeney, who you know from Supercars, along with Brad Schumacher. That's the car they share. The number one, the Kelso Electrical Team NPC entry. They have had a bit of an up and down Friday, though, in some respects. In that car, they had a problem with a valve on the gearbox on Friday morning, which impacted the clutch on that car and lost them a little bit of time. But they had some fun reflecting on the problem with the latch issue on the door in that car that they suffered at Queensland Raceway last time out, and they've posted, you can find it on socials, they've posted overnight what they described as a factory solution, and it looks like one of those old school latches that you'd find on the back of your door in a hotel room, one of the chains, to ensure that they don't have the same dramas at Queensland Raceway. The net result of what happened at QR last time out means that champion combo have a bit of work to do in this second half, but they're a great combo to do that, aren't they?
They certainly are, as there are so many strong combinations in this category. We're going to see. It's actually very hard to predict who's going to be on pole here, I think. We talked about the conditions, the varying conditions. Yesterday, the cooler temperature suiting another manufacturer. Today, who knows who it's going to suit. But the driver, the calibre of drivers in this series is second to none. World-class drivers. Feeney, you've got Woody in there as well. They had a bit of a run-in at Queensland Raceway, didn't they?
Say that again.
They had a little bit of a run-in. Woody and Feeney had a bit of a touch-up through turn 5 at Queensland Raceway, which is great to see. They're driving hard. They all want to beat each other too. In these different manufacturers, you really want to be the fastest out of the manufacturer. So there's a real internal manufacturer competition. But of course, you want to be the fastest overall too.
Now, it's not uncommon to have rivalries in motorsport. We've seen that one at times. I think it's been pretty good here of late. So just to clarify, a little different to monochrome GT4 if you were with us earlier in the coverage, and my little hard wiring glitch for this one. Qualifying 1 will set the grid for race 2, which is for tomorrow. So at the moment, Peroni leading the way, but we're not down to the kind of numbers we saw on Friday afternoon. The Audis hold several spots at the top of the order. We could see the entry of Jackson Evans just weaving there before and starting to get some tyre temp as the Shuren Partners entry crosses the line. Brock Feeney to the top, 1 minute 4.983.
That's a quick time to start the session, only on the second lap. So we're going to see some pretty quick times in this session. I believe the fastest time yesterday was 4.7, so we're only 2/10 off on a track that was probably in better condition yesterday.
Jackson Evans at the wheel of this machine, 4th at the moment in the Ferrari for Arise Racing GT. I was with his dad, Johnny, in Queenstown in recent weeks for a memorial for the late Tim Miles. It's been a year since Tim left us, and he was a great supporter of many drivers, and very proud of Jackson here, obviously. Feeney continuing to do a good job at the top of the order. Very different. Greg Russ came out for that memorial, I should point out too, Luke. Brock quick in the first sector, and middle part was good. We'll see what the end of the lap looks like as the Audi crosses the line. It's a 1:04.593 now. He improves the marker. So just as the pro racer that Brock Feeney is, he's got a nice smile here this weekend too. He's enjoying hustling this car around here. He's top of the order by 3/10, nearly 4/10 of a second over Valentino Astudi. Val.
He does seem very relaxed, doesn't he, Brock, this weekend? Obviously enjoying the Darwin sunshine. He does get a bit of that in Queensland, Gold Coast in his hometown. But see, Woody, last lap, just still warming the tyres. So what you don't want to do is take the grip out of the tyre whilst you're warming it too much until it's in that perfect window. And that's when you want to ultimately, get the absolute most out of the tyre for those couple of laps. So Brock's gone early. He obviously felt that he's got his tyres in a perfect operating window. So you may see his times start to taper off towards the end of this session, where others may come on. So Evans, fastest in the second sector with a 4. Astudi has just beaten him with a 4.8 in second.
Nothing in it between those guys too. You're talking 900ths of a second between Evans and Astudi for second place, but Brock has an advantage of 3/10 at the moment over Valentino with that provisional pole. 4 new sets of Pirelli slick tyres for the weekend, 1 carryover set as well. There's no limitation on the amount of wet weather tyres, and no, we won't be needing those this weekend.
Certainly not.
Oh, no, I don't think there's even a chance, certainly not today, of anything on the radar. So just having a look at the numbers for, you've highlighted Ryan Wood there before. He's 9th at the moment in this session. Jada is 8th. We should see a little something more from those guys as the session goes on. Valentino Astudi in the number 2 there at the moment. Just a little bit of that use of a little bit of that curve, that aggressive curve. Peroni to second. 1 minute 4.812, and it's just under 3/10 now as Brock Feeney returns to the lane.
So Brock was probably looking for a tyre pressure adjustment, pulling into pit lane, and he'll have a second go at it towards the end of this session.
Just to come to your point there before, the balance in that, or the art in that, is not easy, because you clearly need to warm the tyre to a point where you can lean on it and trust it and get the most out of it, but not overextending that is key too.
Yeah, correct. And also getting the temp in the fronts and the rears to balance out for that one lap. Sometimes you can overheat the fronts or get the fronts in an operating window, which is ideal, but the rears aren't quite there yet. So there's a real art to it.
Only friendly fans entry in the hands of Will Davison. Contested the Gold Coast Marathon in the lead up to this event on the 16th of July, 42.2 Ks. I think that's his second marathon he said done. And Rihanna achieved a PB, I think, there too, and she had a little bit of injury, so nice stuff. What is it now? Peroni's trimmed that margin to .047, so nothing in it in the fight for pole position here in GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. Our first qualifying of the weekend, 15 minutes of action. We've got 6.5 to go, and then we'll reset and go again with the second qualifying session of the weekend. Josh Buchan, who was quick in the cooling conditions on Friday afternoon, up to third, and Ryan Woods jumped to fourth. Here's the Wade replay. Let's have a look here. Oh! And we saw that starting at about this point of the session to happen, didn't we, in Monochrome GT4 Australia too?
That's right, starting to push hard now. I think you'd keep it a close eye on Ryan Wood at this stage. This is his second really hard push lap, and he's already within just over 1/10 of a second of pole position.
So Buchan has gone to the top. That's a new fastest lap. 1 minute 4.375. Provisionally, the Ferrari on pole. Shaw & Partners, Team NPC Audi is back out there. Kelso electrical support, of course, as well. Brad will step into that car. Brad Schumacher very soon. Lining up, weaving, getting ready for another chance to maybe try and take that pole away. Here's Buchan. Oh, man. Out of turn 5. That corner is an interesting one because there's a little bit of camber there, and I'm not a race driver like you, Lee. You can tell our audience much better than I can. But it seems like one of those places that tempts you, and sometimes you can be just tempted that little bit too much and run wide. That happens quite often there, doesn't it?
Correct, and as I touched on earlier, try to get to that outside curb as quickly as possible so you carry as much speed into turn 5 as you can. Just try to square the car off late on exit to get to that flat part of the curb at the back behind the sawtooth curb, so that flat concrete section has a lot of grip for the exit.
Buchan provisionally, Josh Buchan provisionally on pole. He's done a bit of driving since we last saw him at Queensland Raceway. He and Cam Campbell obviously ventured off to Spa. I think he was racing a Hyundai Excel, battling with Timmy Slade. Maybe I think he was racing there with Pete Gibberis, who we know from Supercars, and Josh has done some work with Pete over time with some of the unbelievably cool classic cars in his garage, and then separately pulled out the HMO TCR car that he'd had so much success in and had some running in that as well. So Josh has been busy from a racing or driving point of view. He provisionally has pole. What a great story for Zagami Autosport if he could hold on to that with 3 minutes 50 remaining, but you sense we are not done yet. Good job by Alex Peroni, who at the moment holds down provisionally that third place for Team BRM in the car that he shares with Mark Rosser, that Audi R8 that we saw getting wild, getting a little bit loose there before. It's on screen at the moment. Best of our trophy runners, I should make the point too, is Luke Yulden, and he shares that car with Nathan Halstead. That is, Nathan's got a couple of those Porsches, a couple of different iterations or generations. And it's the newer spec that they are running here this weekend, and Luke seemed really happy on Friday afternoon with that car. They're the best of the trophy runners at the moment. I should make the kind of point with a little caveat that the car that Paul Stokel is running here had some damage, that KFC Audi yesterday. It went off around about turn 9 or 10, nosed under some of the tyre bundles there. But the damage thankfully wasn't as bad as we thought. Jayden Ojeda lighting up the monitor now, has moved to 5th. The Juice, the best we've seen in the middle sector, goes to 3rd now. Ojeda.
Feeney has got he's back out there for his second run. He's now got his tyres up to temp. He's done a personal best and the best for the session with a 24.5 in the first sector.
Now, as Josh Buchan crossed the line there, you could vividly see on our Fox and KO coverage there that it was loose coming out of turn 14, the last corner. He's about 3/10 shy of his best lap. He had some personal bests in sectors 1 and 2. This is awkward here as people kind of cycle up in some ways.
Looks to me like a bit of payback there. I think Ojeda may have got a bit held up there.
Feeney, need to keep an eye on Feeney. He's lighting up the monitor. The last sector not quite as sharp, but he was quickest that we've seen in Sector 1, personal best in Sector 2. The margin is 0.094. That's all it is that splits Josh Buchan provisionally on pole from Brock Feeney. You're watching Ryan Wood there, currently in 5th place at the moment. Car that he shares with Steve Brooks. Ojada's car crosses the line. He'll share with Paul Lucchini again. They've been a great combination, those two. Ryan Wood, best in the first sector, least pointing at the timing monitor, as all the racers do when they join us here in commentary. Wonderful to have the insights of the 2021 Bathurst champion. Very vivid memories for me of that day. An emotional day for Lee, and the racing, he might be off doing a bit of full-time work nowadays, but the racing's still very much in the veins, mate, which we love. So middle part of the lap wasn't quite as fast for Ryan. We'll see what the end of this lap looks like. Less than a minute to go in this first qualifying session. Gee, I love this. GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. Qualifying 1, which will set the grid, establish things for our second 1-hour race of the weekend, which happens tomorrow. But we've got another helping of qualifying to come your way. We're not done yet. Ryan Wood to P2. 1 minute 4.438. Woody to P2. Best of the Audi runners. Nice performance. The car you're watching on screen, though, for Zagami Autosport, they'll be thrilled there if they can hold on to this. Buchan provisionally on pole, and we're nearly about to count out on the clock here. Awesome.
He's loving his racing at the moment, Josh. As you mentioned before, he's a very, very busy man. He's been overseas. He just did the Spa race recently. Said it was one of the best experiences of his life. So getting plenty of experience, and now he's back here in Australia just for a few weeks before he heads back over to the UK.
Terrible life, isn't it? Back we go to Valentino Astudi, car 2. He's 9th at the moment. Initial numbers from sectors 1 and 2 don't suggest there'll be an improvement there, though. Checkered flag flies here on the first qualifying session. Josh Buchan is already back in the lane. I think Zagami Autosport have done it. Josh Buchan may have grabbed pole position in our first qualifying session. Ryan Wood returns to the lane. That's a really good job by Ryan Wood there in the Wolfbrook Audi. He's on the front row with that. Feeney 3rd, and look at the numbers. It is nearly a dead heat between Wood and Feeney. There is literally, on the timing monitor, nothing left in the way of numbers. Those guys are nearly dead set equal in a number sense. That's incredible.
Wow. They've maximised everything they've got out of the Audi. It's a great mix of manufacturers in the top 5. You've got a Ferrari, 2 Audis, a Mercedes and another Audi.
We have had an unbelievably close couple of GT sessions. The top 10 in GT3 covered by 0.49, the closest of the year so far. Wade Motorsport bringing you highlights of our first qualifying session for GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. Here in the top end, the beautiful warmth of Darwin. They headed out for the resumption of play, the second half of the championship, this qualifying session to establish the grid for our second race of the weekend, and some class drivers in this field. Brock Feeney would initially lay down in that Shuren Partners Kelso Electrical Audi the number to beat. But as things warmed up among the competitors, as they pushed here, Alex Peroni briefly jumped toward the top of the leaderboard, but ultimately finished in 5th for the session. He was pushing for Team BRM. Great job by Luke Youlden to go 10th fastest in that Porsche, in the best of the trophy class runners. Josh Buchan then put down a number, a 1 minute 4.375. And it was a case, basically, of catch me if you can from there. But he'd hold on for Zagami Autosport for pole position in GT World Challenge Australia. Ryan Wood getting on the front row and Brock Feeney finishing 3rd. The pair of them, the timing monitor doesn't cater for the difference between the pair of them. Basically a dead heat, but Wood getting it and getting that Audi onto the front row. Fascinating stuff. Love that. And we're gearing up in the break for our second quali session. In the meantime, let's get some news from the lane. Here's Chris.
Thank you. Joined by our trophy pole sitter for qualifying 1, Luke Youlden. Congratulations. How was that?
It's good, thank you. New car. It's still a 991, so still older generation trophy car, of course, and we're getting closer and closer now. We're only 4/10 off the actual outright pole. I think we got trophy pole by 7/10 or something, but my aim, and I've said this all along, is to try and get outright pole. We're getting there. It's not too bad for the first time we've ran it, so we're happy. Still a couple of little things we need to fine-tune, but yeah, it's great.
Tell us about the improvements in this version of the car, especially on a track here with such a long straight, but then the back is quite technical.
Yeah, look, I think the catalyst for bringing in this car, the fact it's got aircon, and the old car doesn't. You can probably see I'm quite hot. No aircon in qualifying. So in the race, we'll turn it on, of course, but it's just a much nicer car. It's closer, way closer to the current machinery. You know, no foot clutch, paddle clutches, lots of buttons to muck around with. It just feels like a much newer car. So around this place, probably not a huge amount of difference in the old car lap time-wise. It probably gets its big advantage of the next track we go to with the aerodynamic downforce it's got in comparison, but yeah, really loving it. I think Nathan's loving this car as well, so we're trying to lock it in for the rest of the year.
Perfect. Thank you, mate. Go well.
Thank you. Cheers.
Smile says it all, doesn't it, for the former Bathurst winner. For Zagami, their Ferrari had never qualified better than 7th this year until that moment for Josh Buchan. And just sort of drilling down into some of the numbers here, Lee, he was the only one to go sub 17 seconds in the final sector. So that could really have made the difference, that final part of the lap for them. 5th different pole sitter of the year for us in GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. Importantly, the first one of the year for Ferrari. Now, many of you asking on our coverage here on Fox and KO socials and so on, what was it? What was the difference between Wood and Feeney, second to third? You want this? 0.0008 was the margin in the end. That is unreal. Super close stuff. Very exciting. Love that. More from the lane. Here's Charlie.
Thanks, Rusty. I thought I would get the take from Brock Feeney himself. There was absolutely nothing in it between you and Ryan Wood, mate.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Obviously, only 600ths to pole, and yeah, just a couple of mistakes out there, which you can't make when it's so tight. But we're in the mix. I mean, third, we'll take that. Probably struggled a little bit yesterday, so pretty happy to be third. But yeah, feel like I probably messed that up there. So anyway, we'll see how Brad goes. Hopefully, we can get a pole and we can try and have a good day today.
And what have you sort of passed on to Brad in terms of the conditions out there and what to look out for?
Not much. I don't know, drive fast. There was a couple of little things, but he knows what to do. He's best when you keep it simple. So, yeah, we'll see what he can do. He's been pretty fast this weekend, so looking forward to it.
Good luck in this one. Thanks, Brock.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Rusty.
Charlie, well done there. So that was qualifying one. We've set the scene for you. That is the grid, how it is shaped for race 2 of the weekend, our 1-hour race tomorrow. In the background there, incidentally, too, is all the wonderful work that they did last year for the motocross track, World Motocross here in September. What we now do, Lee, of course, is get set for the second qualifying session. For those that are, you know, we run 2 drivers. When you look at the lineup, the field, there's the motocross track. You would have been pretty handy at that back in the day, wouldn't you?
No. Anything 2 wheels.
This is not time for a podcast, but can I share? I think you and I might have done a bit of quad biking for a promo story once. And did you or did you not nurse a little sore ankle for the rest of the race weekend? That's a story for another time. You'll hope you're doing that. Let's go back to the lane.
Yeah, speaking of stories, we've got one here. Unfortunately, it's not a great news story. He's usually got a big smile on the face, but Will, talk us through that qualifying session.
Yeah, it was sort of nearly over before it started. Unfortunately, it was like my first push lap, just bringing the tyres in and just caught the curb out of 11 on the right. These cars don't like curbs, but it sort of pulled me and sort of straddled the curb exit of 11 and bottomed out massively, and then threw me across the other side of the track, belted straight over the 12 curb, and it's just done massive damage to the floor under the car and just lost all downforce. So yeah, obviously it hurt my session, but yeah, the car's not going to be great for Renee now either, so I feel pretty ordinary.
And I guess not wanting to add insult to injury, but you're so good at QR that success penalty to come in to it in terms of the mandatory pit stops this weekend too.
Oh no, we had that on the Sunday at QR. So
of course, from the Saturday. Okay, that's a good one.
That's a good one. Yeah, exactly. So no, we've been going well. Car's been good, but yeah, just made a meal of that and damaged the floor, which these things are so sensitive to the floors. It's where all the downforce comes. So it was a real handful after that, unfortunately.
Mate, thanks for the honesty and the insights, and good luck.
Thank you. Cheers.
In between time, Motorsport Australia Race Control has been keeping an eye on pit lane. We're obviously all new here from a GT perspective, but can't do speeding in pit lane, obviously. A lot of review of that on Friday from practice, and I note a couple of them from that session just now may have come to their attention, including Oscar Target, Jaden Ojeda and Jackson Evans. So we'll just keep a little watch on that and see if there's any more news in relation to it as our race afternoon on Saturday here unfolds. More from Charlie.
Thanks, Rusty. I wanted to cover off a little bit of an incident that we saw out there between Jaden Ojeda and Paul Stokell. So let's speak to the man himself. A P4 finish, but it was a bit of a tricky incident there. Talk us through that.
Yeah, it was a shame, just getting to the peak of the tyre and was up on that lap until I got Stokelled, essentially. Paul's experienced and he tried to do the right thing, but just pulled out of the throttle a little bit too early on the exit of turn 5, and I basically almost had an airplane crash with him. So yeah, a little bit unfortunate. Lost the peak of the tyre after that. I don't know if we would have had enough to challenge the pole, but it is what it is. We'll ride on, see how Paul goes in this session and go from there for tonight.
Thanks, Jess.
No worries, thanks.
Just another little debrief note in the wake of qualifying one here too. That effort by Ryan Wood, that's the sub-story there is that is great for Team BRM, right? Their first front row start for that organisation since QR last year, so they haven't had great kind of qualifying form here this year, so really, really positive stuff from them. They'll be chuffed getting ready for Q2. Speaking of Ryan, he's about to show you the way around. He's your chauffeur for a lap quickly of Hidden Valley.
G'day everyone, it's Ryan Wood here, driving car 88 with Wolfbrook Motorsport, run by BRM Performance. We're here at Darwin for round 4 of the championship, and here we go. Attacking turn 1, very heavy on the brakes, a big start to the lap, and today the cars are moving around a little bit, so it's about getting both apexes, a good exit off here, opening it up and focusing on turn 5 down here. Heavy brake again, running the chip today. The engine builder won't be too happy. Get the apex. Off camber on the exit here, important to get the car back to the right for a heavy stop at the hairpin, slowest part of the track here. A good exit is important, and also using all the road again. Very, very high speed section of road coming up. Through the right here, very, very high speed, and then trying to settle yourself for the 2 left-handers coming up. Clipping both apexes, clip the first one, don't clip the second one, I didn't. Setting yourself up for a good last corner for a nice drag strip to end the lap. Thanks for joining me on the lap here at Darwin.
Could watch that all day. That's unreal. I mean, obviously GT3 cars have that that wonderful aero component and how it helps the car. It plays a decent role here in a couple of spots, doesn't it?
Absolutely it does. In that second sector, it's all about fast flow, flowing the car. It's not about braking deep. It's about carrying the speed through the corner, letting the aero do the work. And actually in these cars, the faster you go, the better they feel. Because of that downforce, if you're driving them at 80%, they can actually feel quite horrible. You've actually got to drive them on the aids, which is the traction control. They've also got a lateral stability control, and they've got the ABS as well. So you drive everything on those aids, and if you're not on them, you're not pushing the car hard enough and getting maximising the car.
All the chitty. And Shane Smollen. Here is Brad Schumacher, now at the wheel of the Kelso Electrical Assurance Partners Audi. It's his 9th year of racing. What began with some karting. He's proudly from that region there, from Bathurst, and he did karting in places like Lithgow and so on. He turns 40 next year, but he's just in his element when it comes to GT3 racing. Loves it. As we said before, that funny little video of the latch, the door latch issue that they suffered at Queensland Raceway, and how they'll best deal with that here. His business, Kelso Electrical, kind of basically covers all of the state of New South Wales now, with the exception of the Sydney Basin, and he's got something like 70 staff that they look after. He is busy. Back we go. Paul Lachitti's been a real, just in the same way in that interview piece that Chris did at the commencement of our qualifying coverage here between Sergio Perez and Brendan Leach. The other car in the Tagani garage has a very good story in its second driver as well. Paul's been fabulous with Jaden Ojeda, hasn't he? Really good.
Yeah, he has. Those guys are having a great year. What I think's a real shame for this session is not to see Renee, Gracie, not being able to get the ultimate speed out of this car due to the issues they had in that first session. With Will grabbing that curb on the exit of 11, it can be so brutal, those curves around here, especially in a GT car. They got no clearance, so anytime you grab one of those big curbs, it does a lot of damage to the under tray of the car. The under tray produces is what actually gives a lot of downforce to the car, that ground effects of the downforce. They also got the wings, obviously, front and rear, which give them downforce, but the underneath of the car does do a lot for giving them grip. So she's not going to be there, unfortunately, in the mix. Well, we would hope she is, but considering what Will just told us before in relation to the issues he had with the car after that damage, I think we're going to see it's going to be a challenging qualifying for Renee.
History-making moment for that squad last time out at Queensland Raceway. Everyone was thrilled for them, and they alluded to it there before with Chris about the compensation time for that around our mandatory pit stops today. And we'll bring those numbers to you before we go racing. Brad Schumacher is back in the lane by the looks of it already, having set the best time so far. It's a 1 minute 6.525, and he's got margin. He's got 7/10 of a second over Steve Brooks at the moment, who's carrying on the kind of speed that we saw from Ryan Wood in that first session. Cam Campbell, you're watching there at the moment, and he's down in 11th place. Round goes. Now, this car had some damage yesterday. They've done a really good job at Tagani to get that car repaired overnight. Many of us thought when it turned back up in the paddock yesterday after the incident in the back or the final sector of the lap, that it would be a question mark whether the Kalosh Merc would be back in action for today. Replay down at 1. That shows you what happened to Shane Smolin, currently 9th for the session.
So I'd say he's just outbraked himself down there into turn 1, couldn't pull the car up, gets onto the dirty line and ends up in the dirt, off the track. We'll need to clean those tyres up before he has another crack at a quick lap.
Probably should spend a little moment too just talking about John Paul Drake, who's currently in 8th position as well in the Audi, in the 666 Audi. He shares the car with Garnet Patterson, and they've been chasing yesterday a map sensor issue with that car. It was a bit of a problematic day for them on Friday. Garnet was 11th in that first session, our first qualifying session, 0.5 off. But he's been so busy overseas, Patterson, with his racing and things like that. And he likes to work very closely with JP in a coaching sense, but hasn't been able to do much of that just because of his overseas racing program in between events since we last saw this car competing in GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. They made quite an impression at the Bend in South Australia. He's a real character, JP. It's great to have him as a part of the championship. Rosser leading the way now with a 1 minute 6.268 from Steve Brooks. Elliot Shute is the best of the Ferrari runners at the moment. Nice work by Renee Gracie, because both Lee and certainly Will Davison there just highlighting before the potential drama with the damage to the under part of the car, and she's sitting at the moment in 5th place and has gone the best that we've seen in the first sector. Good work.
I think where you'll see the real challenging part for Renee, it looks like this is the middle sector, which is the high speed section, which requires the downforce. So although she was quick in the first sector, she's just losing in the second and third sector. So she's come across the line in P7 now, the 106.5.
A couple of changes. Cam Campbell goes to 4th. You'll note at the top of your totem there that it's Darren Curry who is on top with a 1 minute 5.728. Now that's really good. It's his first time ever at Hidden Valley. Is busy with construction and roofing from a business perspective. He was loving it here yesterday, loving the challenge of driving here, not just the warmer winter climate, mind you, which I think everyone's excited about. Ross is trying to respond here now. Watching him on screen. Best in the first sector. He goes to the top. Brilliant final sector as well. 1 minute 5.528. That car now moves to provisional pole by 0.199. Curry is second. Elliot Shute, the best of the Ferraris. Brooks is 4th. And our championship leader And Sergio Perez is fifth for the session. In fact, he just goes to fourth now, makes a slight improvement with some time found in the middle part of the lap. Rosser.
So Rosser's on another quick one here in the first sector, 24.6, which is the best for the session. See if he can finish it off. The tyres may still be there, but the second sector is really what the telltale is. A couple of tenths off in the second sector. Finishing off the lap here, carrying as much speed through the final corner as possible, but also trying to get the best run onto the straight. He's going to have a slight tow, even though about 10 car lengths back from the car he is following.
Goes quicker, 105.51. So you were onto it. The exit from the final corner, that last sector generally, best. Great effort by him, but certainly the first sector was where I guess he stitched it together or started it. 105.51. Perez looks like he might try and eclipse that now. He's just gone fastest in the middle sector. He goes to second, 105.52. How's the gap between these competitors in qualifying 2 for GT World Challenge Australia? First and second separated by .002. Rosser with provisional pole. Serge is driving unbelievably well at the moment. They come in with a 9-point advantage in the series. They need to keep a little eye on Brad Schumacher. Down in 7th at the moment, gone personal best in sectors 1 and 2. Remember, he came back into the lane very early on, having set the first of the indicative times in this qualifying session. Let's see if Brad can vault up the order here a bit more. We know how good he is. Does he? He goes to 4th, 105.621. He's in the game here. The Audis look good, don't they?
They certainly do, and I think he's done the exact same as what Feeney did in the first section, where they set a lap time, come in, maybe change tyres or just bled them down, and now he's back out there and setting better times again. So I think this will actually be the ultimate lap for him. He's done another personal best in Sector 1 with a 24.8.
I talked a little about his kind of racing CV there before. He's just such a pro in the way that he goes about it.
Hard to call him an amateur, to be honest.
Exactly. Back we go from a trophy perspective now. We were talking about the Porsche before and how good it was with Luke Youlden. They had the upper hand in that first qualifying session over the KFC Audi that you can see here that Matt Stupa shares with Paul Stokel. Now remember, this car came out of Friday with a bit of damage on it. Great work by the NPC crew to repair it overnight. They were confident straight away that they had both the time and everything they needed to get it done. And he's doing a really good job here at the moment. Good fight in the trophy class at present. Let's see what Halstead can deliver in that Porsche. It was pretty handy, certainly on Friday, and with what we saw from Luke Youlden there before. Back into that lap for Brad Schumacher. You pointed out that he was good in the first sector again, but has remained in 4th, and he's just having another crack at it now. So everyone is out there with 4 minutes remaining in this qualifying session.
Less than 400ths of a second between the top 3.
Crazy.
So another personal best for Brad. Let's see. Second sector, he's really losing out. Rear tyres obviously going away. Renee Gracie with a personal best in the second sector.
I think she's come back to the lane though, so perhaps that issue that Will and you expanded on, obviously, after that interview there before, is proving tough to deal with. Now, Brad, in the second and third sector, not able to get the sort of gain that he wanted. You've question marked that. So he remains 4th for the session. What have we got left? Less than 3.5 now. Or Lucchini. So he was good in the first sector. He stays in 7th behind Darren Curry. Sergio's come back to the lane. Is that it for the guy of Valmont entry? Are they feeling like, well, we've potentially got that car on the front row?
Brad Schumacher, the car on screen. The Shaw & Partners Audi going for another lap here. He's done very close to similar to his personal best in the first sector. Just coming up to the end of the second sector now with a 23.2, a little bit quicker than his last lap. So you can put all these sectors together here, he may actually end up on his best time. Let's see where he gets to. Coming across the line now.
I feel like you're a drone pilot. You're watching this lap.
Yeah, he's gone pole.
Well done. Final sector was a beauty. 1 minute 5.393. We're a little quiet there in commentary, just wondering whether it would give him the sort of gain and help him up the order. Great job. Schumacher goes to the top with 2 minutes to go.
He wasn't jumping out to us, Rusty, because he didn't do his personal best in the first 2 sectors, but he's come alive in that 3rd sector.
Yeah. So Mark Rosser provisionally on pole with him. Now that's the number 2 of Darren Curry, who sits down in 6th at the moment. He'll get back on. Serge has come back to the lane and has not returned to this qualifying session. Steve Brooks, need to keep an eye on him. If he can find just a couple of hundredths, he might be able to get that Audi onto the front row, just like Ryan Wood did in session 1. He's got a personal best in sector 1, ends that lap. What happens? It keeps him in 4th. So, I mean, where do you find that, right?
I tell you what, it's really frustrating when you're only a 10th off your best. You know that you can jump up with it and finding another 1/10 of a second, but when the tyres aren't there, you can push as hard as you want. You actually sometimes end up going backwards with lap time.
Counterproductive. So, it's Brad Schumacher from Mark Rosser. Sergio Perez is 3rd, Steve Brooks is 4th, Elliott Chute 5th. Good middle sector from Elliott Chute in the Ferrari from Arise. Darren Curry, who we saw there before, sits in 6th, and it's Lucitti, Smolin, Cam Campbell, JP Drake is 10th, then Renee Gracie. Matt Stupas is still the best of our trophy class runners over Nathan Halstead, who's back in the lane, incidentally, in that Porsche. Less than a minute to go. In fact, just on 30 seconds left in this qualifying session. Will anyone threaten? I mean, Brad Schumacher's even just gone personal best in the middle part of the lap. Is he trying to even improve on his own marker? With pole by 0.124 of a second at the moment. Clock almost about to count out as Brad crosses the line. What does it do? It's not quite enough. It's about 3/10 off in the end, that particular lap, but still some good consistency there.
I don't know what he was doing in that final sector when he got his best time, but geez, he pulled out 3/10 of a second on his next best. So maybe a slight toe down the front straight may have helped him out. Rosser trying to complete his final lap here, holding down 2nd position.
Checkered flags waved on this one, so there we go. I think Brad's done it. Well done, and really nice performance in his 9th season of racing. It was tough for them at Queensland Raceway last time out. They know what it takes to win the title, and this is going to be quite the story in the second half of the season. The fight back from these guys, and it starts now. Brad Schumacher, brilliant job in qualifying 2 for GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. He takes pole over Mark Rosser in the end by 0.124 of a second, as you can see on the Bosch Motorsports scoreboard there. The entry of Brendan Leach and Sergio Perez with Serge at the wheel will head up the 2nd row. Steve Brooks, good performance. All he needed was a couple of hundredths to maybe sneak it on to the front row. Best of the Ferraris, Elliott Chute there in 5th. Some highlights for you, brought to you by Wave Motorsport. Qualifying 2 GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS here at Hidden Valley Raceway. A brief break in between the back-to-back sessions. The 2nd listed driver for each car got behind the wheel for Shane Smolin. Car repaired after some Friday damage. Little moment down at turn 1. Would continue and ultimately finish 9th for the session. Mark Rosser for Team BRM would ultimately get this Audi onto the front row. 2nd, and missing out on pole by just 0.124 of a second, but the qualifying form here by Team BRM generally, they'll be absolutely enthused by that. Really good run from them so far this weekend in both qualifying sessions. Sergio Perez would be up the pointy end of the order off the back of a great run by this crew at Queensland Raceway. Ultimately would get that car onto the 2nd row of the grid. Steve Brooks, who we saw there before, 4th, but it was Brad Schumacher in the Shaw & Partners Kelso Electrical Audi that with a mighty final qualifying session, vaulted up about 4 spots to grab pole with a 1 minute 5.393. Wow. I enjoyed both of those qualifying sessions. Don't know if you can tell that. Let's go to pit lane and get an update for you now.
Rusty, thank you. It's time to present our Rover Pole Position Award for our qualifying 1 session today, which was collected by Josh Buck. And mate, congratulations. This is the first for you for the year, for Zagami and for Ferrari. That means a bit.
Is it the first Ferrari pole this year? There you go. Yeah, it was good. Look, the track's been really difficult this weekend. As a squad, we've worked on what we can work on with the car and maximise what's going to produce, lap time for our car. And yeah, the quali was much quicker than I thought it would be. Yesterday wasn't as quick and the conditions were a bit better. So clearly I had a decent sleep and woke up.
The jet lag hasn't been a problem. You're an international superstar at the moment. Just give us in brief where you've been and where you're going.
Well, we have been doing British GT this year, so our last round was Spa. I should have had pole in Spa, so I'm still dirty on that, but I'll take Darwin.
That's it, Cam. He's going pretty well, isn't he?
Yeah, it's a difficult track today. 9th, I think, we came in at, but there's half a second within it, I think, so it's very tight.
So overall, as a combination for the 2 sessions and 2 races this weekend, you're in a good position, mate. You're loving every minute with this guy and in this car, aren't you?
Yeah, I certainly learn a lot from Josh every time he goes out. I watch a lot of his onboards and just think to myself, just copy that. It's proving a little bit harder to do that than what it looks.
Yeah. And now how are you placed in terms of for the rest of the weekend? Front row, this place, the Ferrari, it's setting up nicely, isn't it?
Yeah, look, I've got, who have I got beside me? Woody and Brock, so... yeah, should be pretty hairy, but plenty of spares in the trailer if we need them, so box on.
All right, well, presenting the award for you, the Rover Pole Position Award is Abby Hay from SRO. Congratulations, guys. Well done.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's qualifying 1 done. I'll get Brad Schumacher to come on over. Brock Feeney's just saying g'day to him as well. There's a hug, there's celebrations and congratulations from Josh Bucken as well. Come over this way, Brad. We'll get our Rover Pole Position Award in the background there. Abby Hay once again will present it to you. Well done. We'll get Brock to come on over as well. I know he's trying to give Brad his moment in the sun, and you deserve it, mate.
Thanks.
You're having a bit of fun on socials with the lock and the chain to keep the door shut. We love the way you've reacted to what was a tough QR, but that speaks loudest of all, doesn't it?
Ironically, I just got out of the car and the door wouldn't shut. No, look, obviously after our issue at QR with the door not shutting, it's really put a huge impact against us with the points in the championship, dropping us down to 3rd. So it's awesome to get a pole position. I knew it was very important to qualify well here. It's a tough place to pass, and so to edge back 1 more point closer again in the championship is obviously really good for us.
Well, the championship is still tight. You're right there in the mix, so that's the main thing. Brock, we'll get you to jump in if we can. This car here, we thought the Audi has got the good all-round ability. Is that how it's actually played out?
I don't really know. There's, 4 or 5 manufacturers within a couple of tenths of a second, so it's obviously all pretty close here. But, yeah, Brad did a great job. I mean, I made a bit of a meal of mine, but I'm glad he executed and got us a pole. So we knew this weekend we were going to have to try and win some races. So it's good to be back up the front. We've probably had a bit of a tough couple of rounds. So Audi's fun. I mean, this track in a GT3 is unreal.
Well, you say that you had a shocker. I think you're being hard on yourself. You missed the front row by a bazillionth of a second. You guys are well placed for the weekend. All the best luck and congratulations again on Rover pole position.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
All right, big weekend coming up. Stick with us because there's action plenty, including racing. Yes, our first race of the weekend after a quick break here on KO and Fox Sports.